My brother's scream tore through the house like a knife through paper, sharp and unstoppable. I was 10, crouched behind the couch, watching Mom shove a spoonful of some foul-smelling green paste into his mouth, while Grandma chanted prayers so loud the neighbors probably heard. Ethan, my 16-year-old brother, thrashed against their grip, his autism making every touch feel like fire, but they called it healing. We lived in a creaky old house in rural Virginia, where the nearest doctor was an hour away, and the internet was a luxury we couldn't afford. Ethan was diagnosed with autism at 5, and from that day, Mom and Grandma turned into generals waging war against his condition. They didn't trust doctors, didn't trust Big Pharma, and definitely didn't trust Ethan to just be Ethan. To them, he was a puzzle to fix, a broken toy they could hammer back into shape with enough herbs, oils, and prayers. I was just Mia, the little sister who watched it all unfold, too young to question, but old enough to feel the weight of their obsession. Mom found her first cure online before we lost Wi-Fi. A blog swore by a diet of raw kale and bone broth to rewire the brain. Ethan gagged on every bite, his face twisting as he begged for his favorite chicken nuggets. Mom would cry, saying, "This is for your future, honey," while Grandma nodded, quoting Bible verses about miracles. When the diet didn't work, they moved to essential oils, slathering Ethan's skin until he broke out in rashes. He'd scream, "Stop it, I'm not sick," but they'd shush him, convinced he didn't know what was best. By 13, I started noticing Ethan retreating. He'd lock himself in our shared bedroom, sketching cityscapes in his notebook, tall buildings, bright lights, places he'd never seen but dreamed of escaping to. He'd whisper to me, "Mia, one day I'll live where no one tries to fix me." I'd nod, not understanding, just happy he was talking to me. Ethan was my hero, quiet, kind, with a laugh that sounded like wind chimes when he let it out. But those laughs got rarer as Mom and Grandma's treatments got weirder. One summer, Grandma met a woman at church who swore by energy cleansing. She brought home crystals and a healer named Marjorie, who burned sage so thick it choked the house. Ethan, then 15, sat rigid as Marjorie waved her hands over him, muttering about releasing toxins. I saw his fist clench, his eyes darting to the door. That night, he told me, "They're stealing me, Mia." Bit by bit, I didn't know what he meant, but his voice cracked, and I felt a knot in my stomach. The breaking point came the winter Ethan turned 16. Mom found a doctor on some sketchy forum who sold a detox tonic for $200 a bottle. It was supposed to flush out whatever caused Ethan's autism. They made him drink it daily, even when he vomited, even when he begged to stop. Grandma said, "Sacrifice is love. Ethan, we're saving you." I'd hide in my closet, covering my ears as he cried. I wanted to scream at them to stop, but I was just a kid. What could I do? One night, a storm roared outside, thunder shaking the windows. I woke up to find Ethan's bed empty, his notebook gone, and a single sentence scrawled on a scrap of paper. "I'm sorry, Mia, I can't stay." My heart stopped. I ran to Mom, who was already sobbing, clutching the note. Grandma prayed furiously, but I saw something new in her eyes, fear. Ethan had run away, taking nothing but his backpack and the clothes on his back. The police searched for weeks, but Ethan was gone, like he'd vanished into the storm. Mom stopped talking, her face hollow as she stared at his untouched bedroom. Grandma kept praying, but her voice was weaker, like she was begging forgiveness instead of miracles. I was left picking up the pieces, haunted by the question, did we love him too much or not enough? Months turned into years. I was 17 when a letter arrived. No return address, just Ethan's handwriting. "I'm safe, Mia." It read, "I'm in Chicago, living my way. Don't look for me. I forgive you, but I can't come back." My hands shook as I read it, relief and grief crashing together. He was alive, but he'd cut us off, building a life where he wasn't a project to be fixed. I showed Mom the letter, hoping it'd bring her back to life. She cried, But for the first time, it wasn't about fixing him, it was about missing him. Grandma read it silently, then walked to her room and didn't come out for hours. I think she finally saw what they'd done, how their love had twisted into something that pushed Ethan away. Now, at 20, I'm studying psychology in college, trying to understand what happened to us. I've learned autism isn't a disease to cure. It's part of who Ethan is, wired into his brilliance, his sketches, his quiet strength. Mom and Grandma meant well, driven by fear and hope, but they couldn't see Ethan for who he was. They wanted a normal son, not the extraordinary one they had. I walk past his old sketches on my wall every day, cityscapes that feel alive with his dreams. I wonder if he's drawing new ones in Chicago, if he's found peace. I hope he knows I never wanted to fix him. I just wanted my brother. This story isn't just ours, it's a question for everyone. Where's the line between love and control? When does trying to help someone become hurting them? Share your thoughts, what's right, what's wrong, and how do we love without losing each other?